Hi, good morning, and welcome back to another edition of Discover History. I'm Brad Bertelli with the Keys History and Discovery Center, and today we are in Rock Harbor, about mile marker 99, and we're going to explore a little history associated with this building behind me, which is today the Key Largo Moose Lodge. Now, Aaron is manning the high-tech film or camera that we're using, so if you have any questions, please type them in now, and we can answer live on air. Otherwise, I'll be sure to answer any questions once I get back to my desk at the office. So today we're going to talk about the building, and there is a bit of a backstory to it, and something we've covered in an earlier edition of Discover History. So if you've missed one of our episodes and you want to go back to our YouTube page, we have about, 8 months of these going on now, and what we're going to focus on start with is back to a property about a mile down the road, which is known today as the Reef Building, the Reef Educational Environmental Foundation. And as with many stories in the Florida Keys, they really start in the Bahamas. And in this case, it was a William and Mary Alberry who went from the Bahamas to Key West. And then once in Key West, as many families did, that was kind of the hub, the starting place. And then families would kind of migrate up the Keys to find other locations. And William and Mary, they had a child named Beauregard, and I think it's 1887, Beauregard was 3 weeks old, and the family moved up to this area of Rock Harbor, about mile marker 99. And they would, homestead. They were fishermen. They were farmers. Once upon a time, all this land here, we're in the median between the northbound and southbound lane, was all key lime groves. And Beauregard and William, they were fishermen as well as farmers. They would supply lobster and fish for the railroad workers in the early 1900s. They would also build the oldest structure in Key Largo that's still in its original location, and that is the Alberry House, the Beauregard Alberry House, built around 1911, 1912, and that today is the Reef Building. Now, because they had a large property, and because this area of Rock Harbor was growing and becoming more of a community, there was a need to create a larger school. The early schools in the Florida Keys were really one room wood buildings. Sometimes they'd be closed because the mosquitoes would be too thick. No air conditioning, open those windows, trying to get some breeze in there, some air in there. And this Rock Harbor community needed a larger school, so the Alberrys donated a plot of land on which to build a new two-room Coral Rock building that would become the Rock Harbor Grammar School. And that is what the bones of this building are. You can still see some of the coral rock. The bones of the building are still here. Today it's the Moose Lodge, but this was originally built in 1924, opened up to school. It became the Rock Harbor Grammar School. Now, there were two of these identical buildings that were created about the same time, about 1924. They were identical Coral Rock two-room buildings. The other one would become the Matacumbe Grammar School. And that was built on the property that is today known as Chica Lodge. Of course, that structure was destroyed in the 1935 Labor Day hurricane. But this structure remains, and and people drive past in the median and they see the Moose Lodge, but they don't really recognize, they don't realize how old this building is and how historic it is, or at least the remains of it are. Now, this was the Rock Harbor Grammar School from 1924 to about 1939. The building has been a host of things since then. It has been, in 1940, it became the Getman Memorial Methodist Church. It has also been, it's been a cabinet shop. It's been many things. And today it is the Key Largo Moose Lodge. It's really cool. You know, it's really cool once you begin to learn and understand more of the history of the Florida Keys, and then the Upper Keys in particular, when you're driving along and seeing some of these historic sites and kind of putting A and B together, and you know, kind of and seeing kind of a peek back into history. So this property, along with the Reef Building, which is about a mile and a half down the road there, was all belonged to the William Alberry homestead. And this was, with farming, all key limes going through here, but there was a need for schools. The community was growing. The number of children, you know, to house in the school was growing, and they needed a bigger space. And something, you know, and you notice all the windows, because with no air conditioning, you know, no pest control, no air conditioning. It's the same theory as the houses that were always built, you know, when these were pioneer communities along the edges of the ocean, because you wanted those open windows to combat mosquitoes when there weren't like hordes of them and big clouds flying in, but also as some kind of cooling agent, so there would be some kind of breeze coming in and out. And also in those days, the southbound lane behind us, which was the original path of the Oversea Railroad. So when the children were in school here in 1924, 1925, up until 1935, they would have watched, you know, the train roaring past as the traffic kind of roars past today. But in those days, the train would have roared past. And then the Overseas Highway, the original highway, State Road 4A, would be the northbound lane, which is behind on the other side of the median. Now, this is just another great example of some of the really cool history we have here in the Florida Keys. And one of the great things we are able to do is kind of come out into the community and share these things and kind of build an understanding of the historic nature and all the history of these islands. And so that's what we're doing, and that's what we do, and that's what we are able to do because of people who, you know, our community and our visitors who support our mission and allow us to keep bringing these great stories and bring this history to life for you. Now we have some great things on the horizon. On Wednesday we have a great lecture on kind of on Florida Bay and kind of how it's with the Everglades Foundation, and kind of an update on the health of the Florida Bay and the Everglades. And so that's it. Wednesday from 6 to 7. You can visit our Facebook page. There was a link on Sunday. There'll be a link or a message on Wednesday as well. You do need to register. It's a free event for our members. Only $5 if you're a non-member. You can also visit our website, keysdiscovery.com, and then go to our events and our events and lecture page, and you can register there. It's going to be another great peek into the ecology of the Florida Keys, because we're here to explore the history, but we are the History and Discovery Center, so we're also exploring this unique ecosystem and the corals and the seagrass and how all this is related with the mangroves, how it's all related, and kind of brings to life these Florida Keys, which we're just thrilled to have been able to do in our 8th year now, and we're just going strong. We keep building, and we're so happy to have everyone watching and kind of joining us on this path, the journey that we're taking. Now, next week, I'm also going to be doing another Community Views peek that will be into a kind of a look into North Key Largo. So look out for that. That'll be a week from Wednesday, and so we have some great programs coming up. We hope you join us for those. And in the meantime, we will see you next Tuesday at 10 o'clock for another edition of Discover History, where we'll explore another piece of our great Florida Keys story. So you guys have a great day, and we'll see you next week. And be safe, everybody. I hear a siren.